Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tech Sale Mindset. My name is Reynold. I will be your host for the evening. I'd like to jump straight into the study guide, and we will leave the pleasantries and the bonus information for till the end of the video. So those of you who hang around till the very end will get the bonuses. Now, this study guide, every single question and answer is compiled directly from the quiz sections of the CourseCareer. So all the quizzes, all the questions, all the answers, you will find in this video format, audio and video format. So with that said, we leave the pleasantries for after we are done with the study guide. So with that said, let's get started with the first questions.
What is an account? The records of all the information associated with a prospective or current customer. What is the difference between a prospect and a lead? Both describe a potential customer and have intertwined meanings that only differ based who you're talking to. What is a C-level executive? The highest level of executives who run the operations of a company. What's churn? Customers who were on a subscription and stopped using paying for it. What's CAC stand for? 1 customer acquaintance cancellation, 2 calendar annual cost, 3 customer acquisition cost, 4 customer acceptance calculation. The correct answer is 3 customer acquisition cost. What's a gatekeeper? Someone who is in charge of deciding who talks to the executives / the person who answers the corporate phone and decides to let you talk to the decision maker or not.
Now this section highlighted in yellow is the correct answer on the quiz section. However, I did want to add some additional information so you could have a more clear understanding.
What's a SQL? A prospect who is qualified to buy your product or service. What's an influencer? Someone who influences the decision of a purchase. What's a champion? Someone who salespeople love. Bonus explanation: a prospect within a company that wants to purchase your product or service and is willing to do everything they can to help convince the others in the company to make the purchase.
Once again, the only answer that you will find on the CourseCareer quiz is someone who salesperson love. But once again, I didn't feel that would be actually explanatory and help you understand what actually a champion is. So this section was added. But the highlighted section is the only section that you will be able to see on the CourseCareer quiz. I'm trying my best to give you guys as much information as I can, but some of them we're just going to have to make additional videos to help you study a little easier. But for now, let's continue.
What did Bob Hoover do to the mechanic who made his plane crash and almost got him killed? He told him to service his F-51 plane tomorrow since he's sure he won't make this mistake again. What's the main difference between mankind and animals? The desire to feel important. The only way on earth to influence other people is by talking about what they want and showing them how to get it. You can make more friends in 2 months by blank. Becoming interested in them. You should always smile because blank. 1. It makes people like you. 2. It makes you happy. Or 3. It costs you nothing. The answer is all of the above. The sweetest sound to a person in any language is blank. That person's name. What do people love to talk about the most? Themselves. When should you argue with someone? Never, because you can't win. By telling someone they're wrong, you are blank. 1. Making them feel unintelligent. 2. Making them feel they have a bad sense of judgment. 3. Hurting their pride and respect. The answer is all of the above. What should you do if you realize you're wrong? Admit you're wrong. When trying to convince someone of something, you should get them to agree to small things by telling you yes, since it gets them in the mood of saying yes and agreeing. What do people prefer more? Having others listen to them talk. What ideas do people like more? Ideas they feel they came up with themselves. What's the best way to see things from the other person's point of view? Put yourself in their shoes and think how you would feel or react if you went through the same experiences. Why is it important to see things from the other person's point of view? So you can sympathize with their point of view before helping them understand your point of view. Why do people do well under competition? They have a desire to excel and feel important. Before telling someone about their shortcomings, you should blank. Tell them how much you appreciate their work and how you also have shortcomings. Instead of giving direct orders, you should blank. Make suggestions by asking questions. There's never too much sincere blank. 1 criticism, 2 shame, 3 confidence, 4 praise. The answer is praise.
Let's do a quick little answer correct here. Answer is praise.
When trying to make someone want to do something, you should blank. Tell them how important what they're doing is and how they'll benefit. Chapter Sales Process. The next set of questions are based on the sale process chapter on spin.
Okay, this is just something I wanted to put in between so we know the next set of questions are based on the spin model.
What kind of salespeople was spin written for? Salespeople who have long, complex sales cycles. What's the definition of a small sale? Completed in a single call and involves a low dollar value. What factor make a major sale different from a small sale? 1 length of selling cycle, 2 size of customers, commitment and risk, 3 the ongoing relationship. For all of the above, the answer is all of the above. What are the 4 stages of a sales call in order? Preliminaries, investigating, demonstrating capability, obtaining commitment. Which stage of the sales call is the most important? Investigating. What is a good definition for spin? A questioning model for the investigation stage of the sale. What does spin stand for? Situation, problem, implication, need, payoff. What's spin selling's definition of closing? A behavior used by the seller which implies or invites a commitment so that the buyer's next statement accepts or denies commitment. Do more closing techniques improve sales success in larger sales? No. Do more sophisticated buyers react well to closing techniques? No. Is it a failure if you don't get an order during your meeting for a large sale? No. What are the successful outcomes in a large sale? Order or advance? What's the most common objective in a large sale? 1 continuation, 2 advance, 3 order, 4 no sale. The answer is 2 advance. What are successful actions of a sales meeting? 1. Investigating and demonstrating capability. 2. Checking that key concerns are covered. 3. Proposing a commitment. The answer is all of the above. What's Ben Selling's definition of a need? Any statement made by the buyer which expresses a want or concern that can be satisfied by the seller. How are explicit needs different from implied needs? Explicit needs are strong wants or desires. Which type of sale do implied needs work the best for? Small. Which type of need works best for large, complex sales? Explicit. What's the purpose of questions in a large sale? To uncover implied needs and develop them into explicit needs. Which type of question is the least related to a successful sales call? Situation questions. What's the purpose of problem questions? To uncover implied needs. What's the purpose of implication questions? To take a problem that the buyer perceives to be small and build it up into a large enough problem to justify action. Which questions do decision makers respond best to? Implication questions. Should you always use the SPIN model in sequence? No, SPIN is a formula that normally works but should be altered based on different situations. Should you plan your questions in advance? Yes, it's hard for good questions to spring up in your mind when you're talking. When shouldn't you use need payoff questions? Both early in the call and when the customer raises a need you can't meet. What's the definition of a feature? Fact or characteristic of a product or service. What's the definition of an advantage? Show how a product or service can be used or can help the customer. What's the definition of a benefit? Show how a product or service meets an explicit need expressed by the customer. What is this? Seller. And another thing about the system is that it has balanced voltage stabilization. Buyer. Oh, what does that do? 1 feature, 2 advantage, 3 benefit. The answer is 1 feature. What is this? Seller. It protects you from current surges so that you won't lose valuable data if you have a voltage fluctuation. Buyer. That isn't necessary here. This building is wired for scientific use, so there's inbuilt voltage protection. 1 feature, 2 advantage, 3 benefit. The answer is 2 advantage.
The reason I'm adding these, so if you come do the quiz, you can see them right away. Those are just the correct answers.
What is this? Seller. But I am sure you'll find the backup memory useful. It means that even in the event of an operator error wiping out your main files, you'll always have automatic backup, so you'll never run the risk of losing key data. Buyer. And how much does this configuration cost? 1 feature, 2 advantage, 3 benefit. The answer is 2 advantage. What is this? Seller. The basic core system costs $78,000. Buyer. And is it compatible with our optical readers? I need to be able to read source data straight into memory. 1 feature, 2 advantage, 3 benefit. The answer is 1 feature. Do more objections result in more sales? No, they indicate dissatisfactions with the buyer. What's the root cause of most objections? Not enough perceived value. Are first impressions a large factor with success in large sales? No, there are still many other parts of your sales interaction that are much more important. Is personal loyalty a large factor for doing business in large sales? No, businesses care much more about the value of solutions than they do about personal loyalty to salespeople. What's the common factor of most good call openings? They get the prospect to agree that you should ask questions. What is a sales cadence? A sequence of touch points you do to attract your prospect to establish a connection to start an engagement or sale. It's a repeatable process such as email, phone, voicemail, LinkedIn texts, etc.
Now, the next few questions are just bonuses that I picked up from the self-development terms. That will be the next video. I will create the Quizlet set so you guys can have this as well.
What is a sales process sales cycle? The sales cycle is a set of specific actions you follow from start to finish to close a new customer. It's comprised of multiple stages that include what the SDR and AE do: research, then outreach, then discovery, then present, then a follow-up, and close. What is sales funnel? A visual representation of sales processes with defined stages that every potential client goes through as they are led toward a final decision. Gives salespeople a repeatable framework of actions to follow, creates a baseline for comparison and forecasting. CRM, Customer Relationship Management. A centralized database that manages and maintains your relationships and interactions with customers or potential customers. CRM tools can now be used to manage customer relationships across the entire customer lifecycle. Examples: Salesforce and HubSpot. Sales engagement / also known as sales acceleration tracks the interactions and exchanges that occur between you and your prospects or customers. The touch points get your foot in the door, keep the conversation flowing, and ultimately lead to a sale.
Okay, and that will conclude the quiz that I have compiled for you. Now, the last 3 to 4, I believe, starting here, are not part of the quiz. Now, for the bonuses. If you decide to follow the link that will be in the descriptions, we will have the flashcards. You guys can leave me a message. Let me know if you would like me to create a video also in the flashcard format. So we're going to try 1 or 2 flashcards to give you an example. The way the flashcards work, if I create the video, it will be, rather than having a straight answer like this.
What is an account? The records of all the information associated with a prospective or current customer.
You will have it more of a format where I will ask the question.
What is an account?
We're going to take a pause for about 3 to 5, maybe 6 seconds to give you an opportunity to see if you could remember the answer. After several seconds, we will flip the card over and give you the answer.
The records of all the information associated with a prospective or current customer.
Now let's try 1 or 2 of them without me interfering. And in between the pause, see if you can come up with the correct answer. So let's try this and the next 2.
What's churn? Customers who were on a subscription and stopped paying for it. What's CAC stand for? 1 customer acquaintance cancellation, 2 calendar annual cost, 3 customer acquisition cost, 4 customer acceptance calculation. The correct answer is 3 customer acquisition cost. What's a SQL? A prospect who is qualified to buy your product or service.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like me to create a video format with the flashcards, let me know. If you found any information or anything that helped you and know that this will be helping you, please leave me a like. If possible, you can also leave me a follow. I will be doing updated videos of my process going through CourseCareers. Now, to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Reynolds. I have had almost, I want to say closely related to maybe 15 to 17 years in the sales industry. It has not been with tech sales, but I have ran 2 to 3 successful businesses of my own. I've had a business where I was doing roadside assistance, and in doing that, I also had to do cold reach, cold email, cold calling. I had to do outreach. Everything that we've learned, I realized that we're learning in CourseCareer, I've had to do at one point or another in order to obtain contracts for my roadside assistance. We've had roughly with ASAP Express Services roadside assistance, I've obtained myself, it was a solo venture for me. So I had to be the accountant, I had to be the one who did the contracts, I had to be the one who did the services, you name it, I did it. In the last 6 to 7 years of my life, I've also opened a successful motorcycle transportation all across the US. Most likely I will put a link to my Instagram. So if you want to follow and you want to see if I'm speaking the truth, you can follow my history on Instagram of hundreds of deliveries I've done over the last few years. Now, the reason I am making this YouTube channel, if you can come and listen to these video formats while you're driving, working, door dashing, it doesn't matter, at least 2 to 3 times a day, you should be able to pass the test. The last exam should not be too difficult. You just have to familiarize yourself with the answers. In addition, I will be leaving a link to this website. You can come and manually test yourself if you want to see how well you're doing. Okay? Now, this is what I want to give you guys as a bonus. There's a few of them. I am going to put a link to this section here. There is a young lady that compiled this. If you come here, you can find common student questions, the free audio book, PDF, and audio that CourseCareers had asked you to pick up, read, or listen to, whichever. Let's open up here. I will put the link in the description so you could find this Linktree page here. And you will find the free keyword, free PDFs, or the free audio. For example, currently I'm listening to Spin Selling, but I did pick it up on, what is it called? Oh, Audible. So I have it on Audible. I paid about $15, so I'm just listening into it on Audible. That was before I found out I can get it for free. Okay, so you can come here, and if that's the method you want to go with. In addition to that, this young lady also has a tutorial on how to remove your background. Yep. If you want to, this is, I believe there is one background BOG, which I will also link for you. That's a bonus that I'm going to give to you guys. If you click on the link that says remove BOG, it is extremely simple. All you have to do, click upload, and it will remove the background for you. Let's get off of this. She's also going to show you how to set up your email signature, final exam study guide, how to land a good interview, common question interviews. You will find these links here. And if you would like to go to her LinkedIn and give her a thank you. What else do we have for you? Now, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to what I am going to give you next. This may be one of the most important, even more important than this study guide that we have just went through. I'm going to play a section for you directly from the CourseCareer when you're done with almost, I believe it's when you get to about 98 to 97% of the curriculums. A lot of you on LinkedIn are asking, well, I see a lot of people getting hired. I haven't got a call back. I haven't got a reached out. Ladies and gentlemen, your very first interview is your test. Let me repeat that. The first interview you are getting is actually your test. So let's play this section from CourseCareer and pay to attention what he is saying.
I'll show you how they go about selecting who to interview. And just note that the reason why the final exam is so important is because they will decide who to interview based on having access to all of the data that you've shared on your profile, your LinkedIn, and your final exam results as well. It's competitive, and that's why it's so important to do well and demonstrate that you really do understand the information, because you'll be a great fit for that full-time position. All of the partner employers will reach out to you directly, so there's no work required on your end to at least go through that channel. They will reach out via email or perhaps even LinkedIn as well. And this is why it's so important to have an optimized LinkedIn with your professional headshot, the about section, work experience, email, signature, because they will look at your results on the final exam. They will look at your profile within CourseCareers, and then they will look at your LinkedIn, and they'll say, okay, they check all the boxes, and this is somebody we absolutely want to interview. So make sure to fill out all the information to the best of your ability and as extensively as possible. This is exactly what the employers see that are CourseCareer partners. We can see CourseCareers for employers. They're able to then sort through what position they're hiring for permanent position, hiring for interns, remote, specific geographic location. And each student, and we have the names blocked off here, we have each student's profile here in one single database so that the employer can see what did you score on the exam as noted in the top right-hand corner of the box. What are you looking for? Where are you based out of? And they'll absolutely review your written and pre-recorded messaging to specific questions. So our partner employers greatly value all the work you put in, and they will then sift through and say, who do they think is a good fit? And then they will reach out to you directly. So what you can
in case you guys miss and you're trying to figure out why did I play this section, when you take your test, your final exam, it is a recorded exam with the camera facing you. Yes, in case if you don't know, your final exam will be a live exam with your camera facing you. These employees are going to be able to see, hear, and read. There are some sections of the exam that will ask you a specific question, and you have to verbally, not write it out, verbally explain it. If you do not sound confident enough, if, for example, if they ask you, what is a gatekeeper? Gatekeeper, that's the person that answers the phone that lets you talk to the decision maker. The answer is correct. However, if you were to insert, like, for example, the gatekeeper is the person that will allow me to speak to the decision maker. One sounds a little bit more fluid than the other. The point that I'm trying to make, before they even decide if they're going to call you and give you an interview, you are already interviewed from the test based on your score, how well you wrote, your grammar, and how confident you was, and how well you explained your answers. That is actually your first interview. From there, if they are comfortable enough, they will reach out to you. So some of you former students may have already took the test and figure, well, if I pass, I pass. You may have passed, but they're not comfortable with the way you answered your questions. For those of you that have not taken the test yet, that is the reason why I'm creating this course. So hopefully from listening to it, looking at it, hearing it, repetitively over and over and over and over to the course of the day, maybe a few days, maybe even a few weeks. You will feel a lot more comfortable when you're taking the test, and you can seem a lot more confident. That is the reason why I'm creating this YouTube channel. At least this section of the test. The rest of my videos will be just a follow-up from the time that I passed the test to how smooth this transition was from being hired, and we're going to do a continuation. So hopefully I do get a job, I get hired, and then you can follow my experience from starting as an SDL and hopefully one day being promoted. Okay? So with that said, the video is almost 33 to 35 minutes. I am going to cut it here, and I will see you guys in the next video. And one last thing, one more bonus for you guys. So we're going to push it to just about 35 minutes. This is me. I'm on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile you can find on the description. Come by, drop me a connect. I will absolutely accept it. Some of you guys have already reached your limit for the week. Well, you can't send no more connections. Yes, you can. So here's a little trick that I've learned. For example, let's go to the home. Look at this guy here, Aaron. Now, if I was to try and connect with Aaron, perhaps I will not be able to send Aaron a request connection. However, I could simply grab a little section here. For example, congratulations on your exam. It is just a 605 student. And don't pay attention to the rest of this stuff. I got to work on that. Now, I could come here. Oh, did I copy that? Let's do this again. Copy. I'm going to paste that. Now, if I'm not able to send any more connections, like I said, I have to work on it. Yes, we'll do it now. Okay, so let's read this out. Okay. Congratulations on passing your CourseCareer exam. This exam was just one hurdle on your path to success. This post is inspiring to all other CourseCareer students who are currently preparing to complete the course. Very nice. Let's personalize it just a little bit. Congratulations, Aaron. And there we go. So we could even copy this. Copy. And let's post. Now, even if I cannot send Aaron a connection request, when Aaron reads this, hopefully he will be nice enough to say, hey, a fellow student, let me send him a connection request. Now you can sit here and do this all day. Let's see if we can connect. Pending. Okay. Now, once I reach my limit for the pending, because I do not have the monthly subscription, let's find someone else. Anybody else just graduated? Okay, here we go. We got Omar. Okay, Omar. Let's drop you a little congratulations. And we're going to change this to or more, a little personalized, and post. So if you do this about 15 to 20 times a day, that's an additional 15 to 20 times you can have an additional connection in case you run out of your weekly connection limit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut it here. Hopefully, once again, if you find some value in this video, please drop me a like. Feel free to subscribe if you want to follow my journey into me becoming a tech sales SDR. Be blessed, and I will see you guys in the next video.